Reflections of Fear, the Haunted Mirror. The old mansion stood at the edge of the dense forest, its windows dark and lifeless. The family, eager to explore their inheritance, moved in, unaware of the hidden horrors within. The attic was dusty and filled with forgotten relics. While sorting through old trunks and boxes, young Emily stumbled upon a large, ornate mirror draped in a faded cloth. "Look what I found," Emily called to her parents, Jane and Robert, as they climbed the creaky stairs to the attic. The mirror's intricate frame was adorned with eerie, twisted figures. Robert pulled back the cloth, revealing the mirror's surface. A chill ran down his spine as he saw his reflection flicker, replaced momentarily by a monstrous, shadowy figure. "It's just a trick of the light," Jane reassured him, though she felt uneasy. They decided to clean the mirror and hang it in the hallway, unaware of its malevolent power. That night, Emily woke from a nightmare, drenched in sweat. She had dreamt of a dark forest, where twisted trees reached out like claws and a haunting figure followed her. The next morning, Jane noticed something strange in the mirror. Her reflection seemed to smirk back at her, a cruel glint in its eyes that did not match her own expression. Robert dismissed Jane's concerns, attributing it to stress. But as days passed, the mirror's influence grew stronger, warping their reflections into grotesque, fearsome images. Emily's dreams grew more vivid and terrifying. She saw herself trapped in the forest, surrounded by shadows whispering her darkest fears. Each night, the dreams worsened. Jane began to see her deepest insecurities in the mirror. Her reflection aged rapidly, mocking her with cruel laughter. She started to avoid the mirror, but its pull was strong. Robert, too, felt the mirror's grip tightening. He saw his deepest desires reflected back, tantalizing and taunting him. His obsession with the mirror grew, and he spent hours staring into it. Emily's nightmares began to seep into reality. She saw fleeting shadows in the corners of her room and heard whispers that grew louder each night, urging her to look into the mirror. Jane discovered a diary hidden in the attic, its pages yellowed with age. It belonged to the mansion's previous owner, who wrote about the cursed mirror and its terrifying effects. "The mirror reveals your darkest fears and deepest desires," the diary read. "It drives you mad, feeding off your emotions until you are consumed by its power." Determined to protect her family, Jane tried to destroy the mirror. But as she raised a hammer to its surface, her reflection snarled and struck back, forcing her to drop the tool. Desperate, Jane sought help from a local historian. He revealed that the mirror was crafted by a dark sorcerer, its curse bound to the mansion and its inhabitants. To break the curse, the historian explained, you must confront your fears and desires reflected in the mirror, and reject their hold over you. Only then can the mirror be shattered. That night, Jane gathered Robert and Emily in front of the mirror. "We must face it together," she said, her voice trembling. "It's the only way to break free from its grip." As they stood before the mirror, their reflections twisted into monstrous forms. Jane saw her own face melt away, revealing a hideous, decaying visage that laughed cruelly. Robert's reflection showed him surrounded by riches and power, but as he reached out to touch the mirror, the image shattered into 1,000 mocking faces, all sneering at him. Emily saw herself lost in the dark forest, the shadows closing in around her. She felt their icy fingers grip her, pulling her deeper into her fears, but she resisted. "It's not real," Jane whispered, clutching Emily's hand. "We can break free." They held onto each other, drawing strength from their bond as the mirror's horrors intensified. The mirror's surface began to ripple and distort. Their reflections clawed at the glass, trying to break free and drag them into the nightmarish realm within the mirror. "We reject you," Robert shouted, his voice shaking. "You have no power over us." The mirror trembled, its dark energy pulsating as they fought against its sinister influence. Jane focused on her love for her family, the warmth of their bond overpowering the mirror's cold grasp. She felt the mirror's hold weakening as their united will grew stronger. Emily closed her eyes, imagining a bright, safe place where the shadows couldn't reach her. She felt the darkness recede, replaced by a comforting light that filled her with hope. The mirror's surface cracked, a web of fractures spreading across the glass. Their reflections screamed in rage and despair, but their voices grew fainter as the cracks widened. With a final, defiant shout, Robert raised the hammer and brought it down on the mirror. The glass shattered, shards flying in all directions, and the room was filled with blinding light. When the light faded, the mirror lay in pieces on the floor. The air felt lighter, and the oppressive weight of the mirror's curse was lifted. They had broken free. In the days that followed, the mansion seemed brighter and more welcoming. The nightmares ceased, and the whispers in the shadows were silenced. Peace had returned to their home. Jane carefully gathered the shards of the mirror and buried them deep in the forest, ensuring its dark power could never harm anyone again. The curse was finally broken. The family grew closer, their ordeal having strengthened their bond. They filled the mansion with laughter and love, transforming it from a house of horrors into a true home. Emily's dreams were now filled with light and joy. She no longer feared the dark forest, knowing it was just a shadow of her past. She embraced the future with hope. Jane and Robert found new purpose in restoring the mansion, preserving its history while creating new, happy memories. The past no longer haunted them, but enriched their lives. The historian visited them, pleased to see the curse broken. "You have done what many could not," he said. "You faced your fears and overcame them. The mansion is truly yours now." As a final gesture, the family planted a garden where the mirror's shards were buried. Flowers bloomed, a symbol of new beginnings and the triumph of light over darkness. The mansion, once a place of fear and sorrow, became a beacon of hope in the community. Neighbors visited, drawn by the warmth and love that now filled its halls. Emily, inspired by their victory, began writing stories about their adventures. She shared tales of courage and hope, encouraging others to face their own fears. Jane and Robert supported Emily's passion, proud of her strength and creativity. Together, they nurtured her talent, knowing she would inspire others with her words. The mansion became a haven for artists and dreamers, a place where fears were faced and overcome. It stood as a testament to the power of love and courage. One evening, as the sun set over the forest, Emily stood by the garden, reflecting on their journey. She knew they had been tested, but their love had proven stronger than any curse. The family continued to thrive, their bond unbreakable. They knew the mirror's curse had been a dark chapter in their lives, but it had also brought them closer together. As years passed, the mansion's story became legend. Visitors came from afar, drawn by tales of the cursed mirror and the family who had bravely broken its spell. The mirror's fragments remained buried, a silent reminder of the darkness they had overcome. The garden flourished, a symbol of resilience and the beauty that can grow from hardship. Emily grew into a confident young woman, her stories touching the hearts of many. She often spoke of the mirror, using its tale to teach others about courage and hope. Jane and Robert found joy in their roles as caretakers of the mansion, preserving its history while building a bright future. Their love for each other only grew stronger. The mansion, once a place of fear, became a source of inspiration. Its walls echoed with laughter and music, a far cry from the eerie silence that had once enveloped it. The family never forgot the lessons learned from the mirror. They faced challenges with courage, knowing they could overcome anything as long as they stood together. As Emily's stories spread, people began to see the mansion as a place of healing. Those troubled by their own fears came, seeking solace and finding strength within its walls. Jane and Robert welcomed all who came, sharing their experience and offering support. The mansion became a sanctuary, a place where fears were faced and conquered. The forest, once a dark and foreboding place, now seemed inviting. The shadows that had once terrified Emily were just memories, powerless against her newfound strength. The historian's words echoed in their hearts: "You faced your fears and overcame them." The mirror's curse had been a trial, but they had emerged victorious, stronger than ever. The family continued to thrive, their bond unbreakable. They knew the mirror's curse had been a dark chapter in their lives, but it had also brought them closer together. The mansion stood as a testament to their victory, a place where darkness had been vanquished by love. It was a beacon of hope for all who entered its doors. As the mansion's legend grew, so did its reputation as a place of hope. People came to see the garden, hear the family's story, and find their own courage within its walls. Emily's tales inspired many, her words a beacon of hope. She knew that no matter how dark the fear, it could be faced and overcome with love and courage. Jane and Robert watched their daughter with pride, knowing she was their greatest triumph. They had faced the mirror's curse together and emerged stronger than ever. As the sun set each evening, the family gathered in the garden, a reminder of their journey. They knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. The mirror's curse had tested them, but they had prevailed. Their love had proven stronger than any darkness, and their story would inspire generations to come.